Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lodeholt. Many of you have probably heard my story about evangelism. When my oldest child was born, Nan and I soon realized that we had to do something about our cars. We had the typical cars a young couple might have, small and low to the ground and maybe a little bit sporty. But when Michael came along, it wasn't long before it was clear that we needed something a little more accommodating for a family with diaper bags and all sorts of other baby paraphernalia. We ended up purchasing a Honda Accord station wagon. They don't make those anymore, but they did then. We were so proud of it. In fact, sometimes people would come by the church office and I would take them out and show off the car. I would highlight features and how much more room we had. They were always so kind and smiled politely while I went through it all. And then one day it hit me. I had been witnessing more about my car than I had about my Savior. Now I have to tell you, that was pretty convicting. But then I also learned something else too. It's easy to talk about something that you are excited about. Ask any child who's going to Disney World this summer, and they will tell you all about it. If we aren't excited about something, we tend not to mention it. And that's what often worries me about how seldom we talk to others about Jesus. We should be excited about our Savior and be eager to talk about our faith. This week we are looking at the whole armor of God that St. Paul describes in Ephesians 6. And today we have come to the third piece of equipment Paul mentions. As shoes for your feet, put on whatever will make you ready to proclaim the gospel of peace, St. Paul urges us. Now, typically we probably don't think of shoes as a piece of armor. But in fact, a soldier would need shoes to protect his feet from rocks and to have his feet protected so that he doesn't have to be concerned about them while in battle. However, I think Paul here is thinking about shoes as more of something like a weapon, not just an item of protection. You see, the shoes are to enable you to go where you can proclaim the gospel of peace. Paul is calling us to witness to the gospel, to actively go where the gospel needs proclaiming, and there to boldly proclaim it. In our spiritual warfare, we aren't to be ashamed of our faith or reluctant to proclaim it. We are to have the courage of our conviction and boldly go and boldly tell. It is also interesting that in all this military talk, St. Paul describes the gospel as the gospel of peace. Certainly the gospel calls us to peace between peoples and individuals, but I also think the gospel brings us peace within ourselves. We have peace through forgiveness. We have peace knowing to whom we belong. We have peace knowing who we are. We have peace knowing we are loved forever and ever and ever. A long time ago, probably about the time we got that Honda station wagon, there was a commercial on TV for the Literacy Council. It was talking about the importance of teaching people who had never learned how to read. This particular commercial showed a man who looked to be about 50 or 60, and he was talking about how he had recently learned to read and how it had changed his life. Behind his voice, it showed him reading his Bible in a church Bible study. I remember the end of the commercial as the man said, full of emotion, "Now don't you know I have something to be excited about?" So do we. It's time to tell. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.